Hello, it's Scott Madley here, and today I'm looking at something by Private Division. You may not have heard of this before, but Private Division are the indie arm of 2K, who of course recently acquired Kerbal Space Program. And it's under that label that Kerbal Space Program Enhanced Edition has been released. How is it enhanced? Well, the enhanced part assumes that you are somebody that has been playing it on a console, on the Xbox One or a PlayStation 4. So yeah, about 2 years ago, Kerbal Space Program was released on the consoles, and it was ported by Flying Tiger. They were involved in the 1.1 release, the port over from Unity 4 to Unity 5 that brought us the 64-bit release, but the console port really was rather dubious. I mean, it was nice to have a console version, but it was buggy, and it was based on version 1.1. It never got updated, so while they found a bunch of bugs in it, they were never fixed. The game had a habit of just destroying your saved games randomly and forcing you to start again. In fact, I hear that Blitworks had a similar problem with the game itself and decided to essentially report the entire thing from scratch. And so it's finally been released, and I've got to say it is a vast improvement. It does earn that enhanced marker if you are a console player. If you're a regular PC player, it's a few versions behind, although the main thing that it's missing out is multiple language support and the Asteroid Day mod and a few other things. But the game itself is vastly improved for the console. I'm here flying in the Dino Wing re-entry scenario, or Dino Wing landing scenario. And one of the nice things is you can now very easily swap the roll and the yaw from the pause screen, so you can switch between aircraft style flying and rocket style flying with ease. Which is good because it's one of the few easy things about the control scheme. There are a lot of embedded menus. You hold a button and you select a radial option. That is, for the action groups, there's at least 3 different radial menus you can track down in the game. This is the regular radial menu, which is bound to the circle, or the triangle key, button, I don't remember. This is obviously me playing on a PlayStation 4, and one of the nice things is that since the original console version was released, we've had the Pro or the enhanced versions of the consoles released, because of course Kerbal Space Program is very much CPU bound, and having the faster CPU, better GPU obviously is going to be a great help to the game for those players that really like the console life. And look, we're not going to get all PC master race here, because that was originally intended ironically, but dumb people took it seriously. Putting all the controls for Kerbal Space Program onto the single controller is hard, but they've done it, and you don't need to spend a lot of time using the mouse cursor. There is a mouse cursor that's essential for some parts of the game, but you can generally stay away from it. The only place where it's really essential is in the map for selecting maneuver nodes, and in the construction, in the vehicle assembly building, you're probably going to be using that a lot to select parts. The part selection system, you don't need to use the cursor for that at all. It's all very nicely arranged in drawers, and you have the sorting, you have the special, the enhanced grouping for parts are all available via this menu. But the game's difficulty curve is, well, still pretty much vertical. I could totally imagine a lot of players coming into this, buying it because they hear it's awesome, and then just hitting a wall as they can't figure out how to do anything interesting except fly the stock vehicles. But maybe that's me just kind of projecting my understanding of a mouse and keyboard style control and trying to figure out how to do the same thing with the gamepad. In fact, I felt a lot like when I was playing Stationeers, how I had to do a lot of things, a lot of what I felt was unnecessary actions to do the simplest thing, when in fact, once you know the combos, it's very, very fast and it doesn't feel particularly long and arduous. Speaking of keyboard, of course, the PlayStation does actually support keyboard, so you can plug in a regular USB keyboard and use it for naming things and whatever. But Kerbal Space Program Enhanced Edition also binds a lot of the regular keyboard controls, so you can plug in a keyboard and get all your action groups and everything available. If you want to build one of those control panels with all the tactile controls that just behaves like a USB keyboard, those should just work. You should just be able to take it and plug it directly into the PlayStation. And The debug menu works via the keyboard, so Ctrl-Alt-F12 works. But if you haven't heard, you can also access the debug menu from the gamepad. There was a lot of discussion this morning about it. People can accuse the Kerbal developers of lying, but no, if you pause the game and go into the menu, you can push up, up, down, down, left, right, left, right. That is the Konami code, and that will bring up the cheats menu for you. And yeah, I know, cheat menus in games generally are, well, for cheaters, but in Kerbal Space Program, they allow so many cool things. They allow you to tweak the gravity, they allow you to change the physics of some stuff, they allow you to just fly with infinite fuel, they allow you to just put objects in orbit. So these are all things that actually help you set up scenarios, and I would regularly use it. So not having it in the console versions has been pretty hard, and it's one of the reasons why I would never touch it. Now, I was able to trigger one achievement, by the way, but as I understand it, QA were watching that stream and we can expect that to be fixed, presuming that they do put out a fixed version. I found a few other bugs here and there, so I'm hoping that they will actually follow through with this release. So if you did already own the original Kerbal Space Program on console, the Enhanced Edition will come to you for free, so you don't need to worry about buying it twice. I will point out though that the saved games from the previous version will not carry over, neither will your trophies or your achievements, so you're going to have to redo all that. But the game performance does seem to be a whole lot better. I mean, there is no way that this is not enhanced over the console version. Of course, if you have a decent PC, then there's really no reason for you to own the console version unless you're someone like me that maybe wants to sit on the sofa and play Kerbal Space Program. I was also able to build a vehicle with more than 300 parts. The old console version had a hard limit at 300, but no, you can build as big as you like and destroy your spaceport and frame rates at exactly the same time. Again, this is version 1.22 or thereabouts. It has essentially everything that's in 1.3 except with a couple of small things missing. It has the modern fuel flow system, it has ComNet, it has the better UI. So this all definitely makes for a game which is much closer to what is currently available to those PC Master Race type people. And I'm presuming that when the time is right, it will get updated to the next version because of course they are talking about the Making History DLC, and DLC equals potential money, so there will be hope that this thing does get updated and supported. After all, cash incentives are always good for software companies. So, I'm really glad that I can now recommend Kerbal Space Program on consoles. Previously, I was a little concerned about the bugs, and there would be a lot of ifs and buts, but I think most of the ifs and buts are now gone. And of course, if you are outside the US, this may actually be your first chance to buy the game because previously it wasn't even in the non-US store. So I'm hoping that we'll see a whole bunch more Kerbal Space Program players on console. Yes, the PC version is objectively better because it supports mods and because it can run on faster hardware, but you might not have that faster hardware. You might only have a console, and this is definitely the next best thing. Hope to see you out there in orbit. I'm Scott Manley. Fly safe.